As I mentioned, I'm going to be using a real client website of mine in order to walk you through the redesign process and also ranking a website from scratch. So I want to actually show you this company that we're going to be serving here. The company is called Live Lawn and Prosper Landscaping. They're obviously a landscaping company. They provide primarily lawn mowing services, but also just general landscaping tasks as well. They are looking to increase the number of leads that they receive from their website, primarily in the spring and summer months, as the area that they serve gets very cold during the winter and clients are not typically looking for services at that time of year. So before I really get in depth and speak with a client about their website and their business and about what they're looking for, I'd like to do a little background research myself, just to get a general idea of what I'm working with. This helps me to better phrase the questions that I ask them when I speak with them, and also just have a better idea of what I'm going to be dealing with moving forward. So the first thing that I like to do is start out by looking at their website. So I like to just look at the overall design of the website. Is this something that is really going to stand out from the other sites that are on page one? I like to look for a call to action. Are they asking visitors to do anything when they arrive on the site? I see a get a fast free quote call to action here, but it's at the very bottom of the site. They do have a slideshow here, links to their portfolio. So it's great that they're showing examples of their work right up front, but it looks like they might be able to use this space a little bit better. I also notice right away that they're making a big mistake I see a lot of businesses make, that they talk about their own business right there on their homepage. And that's something that we want to stay away from. But I'm going to go more in depth into that in a little bit when we talk more about website content and what we should be including. I also like to take a look and see what pages they have on their website. It looks like they don't have any drop-down menus, so they just have a few pages here at the top, and so I just want to get a general idea here. I don't see anything about their particular locations that are served, and it looks like all of their services are all on the same page, and they just have a very short description for each individual service. So I can go through each of their pages, see what I think about it in general, see what we could do to improve. That way when I'm speaking with them, I already know what it is that they're referring to when they talk to me about specific pages on their site, and I may be able to come with some suggestions about what we can do as well. I do notice that the site is loading very slowly. That can absolutely have an impact on SEO and general rankings, and we will look at how to know how quickly your website loads a little bit later in the course, and then how to make it load even faster if we need to. So that looks like something we're going to need to address. I also pulled this website up on a couple mobile devices, and it is not mobile friendly, which is definitely not good for ranking. So that's something that I'm going to need to talk to the client about as well. Another thing that I like to do is go to Google and just type in the business name, and I want to see what comes up when I type the name in. So immediately their website comes up. That's a good sign. I also see that they have a Facebook page. I see that on Yelp they already have a few ratings, which is really great, especially since it shows that they have a 5-star rating. We have pictures coming up for them. On the right-hand side, it has their whole card here that also includes a couple of Google reviews, and it looks like they're positive reviews. I see that they're in some directories as I go down. So it does look like there is a presence. There's a YouTube channel. So everything that I'm seeing so far on the first page does show that they have a positive presence so far. But I do want to click into any social media accounts that I see and take a look at what's going on here. I see the last post was 2 hours ago, and then before that, several weeks ago. So it doesn't look like they're overly active right now. A lot of what I'm seeing here looks very self-promotional, so we might be able to strategize about that a bit. It also looks like what's coming up when they actually type in their own website address doesn't really describe their business, is probably not what they want to show on social media, so that's something to consider as well. So again, I can just go through some of these links, get a general idea of what their strengths and weaknesses are here. Another thing that I like to do is, if I can, and I already have access, sometimes you will, sometimes you won't, it's just to go into their Google Analytics account. And I want to take a look at the traffic. I want to see how much traffic I'm actually dealing with. Doesn't look like they get very much traffic at all. But what I want to look at is acquisition here, search engine optimization. I can take a look at their top landing pages, what keywords are actually being used. I can see what traffic they're getting. I can see where that traffic is actually coming from. So we can go and see if any of these sites are helpful. I can see that Yelp is referring quite a bit of traffic to them, but nothing else is really jumping out as overly helpful. So we're going to have to see why these other sites are referring to them. Make sure that we're getting just quality traffic. We really want to focus on quality traffic and not just any traffic here. Also go to Open Site Explorer, and I can throw in their web address again. And here I can look for a couple of things. I want to look and see if they have any links that are pointing to their pages. It says that they have not discovered any links, so there may not be any links pointing to them at this time, or there may be some very newly acquired links that they have not pulled up yet. I can see that they have a low spam score, which is good. Domain authority and page authority is something that I want to look at as well. Domain authority, the higher the number, the better. This is very similar to PageRank. Domain authority is just updated a lot more often. So the higher the number, the better. But for a newer site, it's not indexed at all. 9 is not awful, but it would be good to improve it if we can. Page authority just refers to the specific page you typed in. So instead of the actual whole domain being considered, it's considering just the home page. So if you did livealonandprosper.com/services or whatever the URL was, then it will rate the authority for that particular page. So some may be higher, some may be lower. So the more we can increase this, the better, and we'll look at techniques for doing that later in the course. But I don't see a very, very low score there, so that's not too alarming. I can also go into Majestic and I can throw in the URL here, and this is going to show me if there's any backlinks. And typically what happens is when you put a domain in here, it's going to show you citation, trust flow, and citation flow. So let me type in another address here. I think this was the address of another competitor. And it's going to show the trust flow and citation flow. So you'll see here they have a 2 for a trust flow and a citation flow of 11. Anything over 10, you're okay. If you're dealing with a number in trust flow that's less than 10, you probably are going to be dealing with a little bit of spam backlinks. So if this is one of their competitors, which I believe it is for some of the keywords, we'll go back and look. That could be a really good sign for us that they may be doing something a little bit spammy. So we may be able to pass them relatively easily. But we'll look more into that when we get to backlinking later in the course. But if you put in your domain, and this will give you a good idea of your trust flow and citation flow. Again, if you're dealing with numbers over 10, that's good. If you're seeing something that's lower, we're going to have to look into that a little bit more. You may be dealing with some bad SEO that has been done, and this is important to know because you'll need to take the time to correct that. Lastly, I can throw the domain into SEMrush, and this is going to give me a lot of different information. You can get just a free view here without having to pay for the whole service. This will show you the number of backlinks, if there's any referring domains. You can also see by scrolling down some of the top keywords that they might rank for. So if they rank for any keywords, it would show you that there, and you can click in for a full report as well, and it'll give you a longer list, but they're not ranking for anything else. So obviously here their positions are very, very low, so nothing is coming up for them. It looks like they're really not ranked at all, so we got a bit of work to do. But it will also show you some of their competitors if they have any, but again, this site is just ranking so low, it's not pulling up a lot of data. So that just tells us we really need to get them ranked. One last thing you can do is just check to make sure that the website is actually indexed in Google. When I did a search for their business name, it did come up, but I can do this by typing in site, semicolon, and the domain name. And this is going to show you all of the pages that are indexed here. So this shows me that I have 6 results. That means there's 6 pages. So I do believe that I only have 6 pages on this particular site, and it does look like Google has indexed them all. So that's good. If you do this search and you don't see the site come up, your site may have been blacklisted, there may have been something wrong, or the site is just so brand new that it has not been crawled yet. So we just got to figure out what the issue is and take a look at that. But this just will give you a general idea of the website that you're dealing with, and then you can go ahead and speak with the client a little bit further and ask them more details about the site, and we'll talk about that here in just a moment.